insurance program to somebody. Let's see how I want to do this. Okay, I'm gonna simplify it very simply for you. Simplify it very simply. That's I'm a member of the redundancy department. Where's my okay, I hope this is the one that works. Okay, gang. The ATM sales process. Let me pull mine out. Okay, so the new ATM 5.0. So let's break down the sales process very simply. I can dig deep, but I don't want to dig deep. I just want you to get up there and flip the dadgum charts. Okay, let's flip the charts. And so there's like a I call it the 5-question process. Okay, okay. So the 5-question process. Number one, this is called bond and rapport. And the second part of the process, number two, finding their pain. I'm laying the foundation. This goes so that you can understand my entire sales teaching by just laying out the framework, because framework is important. Pain. This is the upfront contract. Okay, I'm going to talk briefly about these. We'll call this fulfillment of the contract. These come out of the Sandler sales system. So I'm a Sandler guy. We use 5 steps of the Sandler 7-step process. You don't need to know anything about that. I'm going to give you the quick and dirty on how to go through the ATM by using like 5 basic questions or 5 question categories. Okay. Fulfillment, and then this is the post-sale. Okay. I'm introducing this to you because then you'll understand the context of how I teach what I teach and why I teach what I teach, but don't dig deep into it. It's as simple as my process the phone. Okay, remember the phone call is simply dialing the phone to see if they're there. Number 2, am I talking to the right person? Joe? Mary? Number 3, verifying information. Number 4, telling them it's only going to take 15 minutes. And number 5, booking the appointment. Now, what I could have done is probably what I should have done too, I forgot, was to verify that this house, what color is this house, what part of the street it's on. I normally do that. So I didn't do that here because I got him on, I got him booked. So I could have went through and in my other video, it shows you how I did verify the color of the house, what street it's, what cross street, how to kind of basically get there. And I really should have done that because it's more than 48 hours ahead. So look, I make mistakes, okay? Not that good. Remember, I'm not that good. All right, so here's like the 5-step process of the ATM, okay? And each slide fits in to this process. So basically, just let's talk through it. I want to make sure that I relate to the patient. They are a patient, by the way. So bond and rapport. That's kind of what I was doing on the phone, just trying to create rapport with the person by matching how I talk to them, that kind of thing. But I want to feel good, people call it warm up, whatever you want to call it. It's like, so they trust you, okay? And then I go find out, why am I here? What do they need? Do they need something? That's the pain process. And then number 3, the upfront contract to tell them what's going to happen. Okay, so in order to make sure this doesn't happen to you, this is what's going to happen. Is that cool with you? And they say, yeah. Then fulfillment shown the rates. So which choice between 1, 2, and 3 is going to work for you and your budget? And then number 5, hey, when I get this, I'm going to give it back to you. I'm going to open your policy with you and you get it, and then we're going to go over it, blah blah blah. Okay, so. There's very specific things. So it's really 5 questions are the 5 steps in the process. Okay, so I'm going to go through the ATM, but I'm going to show you kind of where it is in the ATM as we go through it. Okay, but let's just boil it down to just a simple questions. Number one, bond and rapport. So when you're sitting down with a married couple, this is what I like to, the question, memorize this question. So how did you two meet? This is like one of the main questions. That's a great bond and rapport question for a couple. Okay, if it's a single person, okay, another great question is, so how long have you lived here in this house? It's a mortgage protection, okay? So couple single, okay. Another bond and rapport question, and this kind of helps you get into the pain. So have you had a close relative pass away? Yes or no? And then did they have life insurance? This is a great Eric Allaire question. Because if they say yes, they did, oh man, it must have really helped their family out. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, well that's what we're going to do to help you do that here. Or they say, well, no, they didn't. Oh man, was it hard? Oh man, you have no idea. I just had I had an agent I interviewed yesterday who told me exactly that. It's like when she was younger, her dad died. They didn't have life insurance on him, and it was hard on the family. Well, tell me more about that. You know, we're going to make sure that doesn't happen to your family. So either yes or no works. So these are great bond and rapport questions to create relatability with your client to help them trust you. Okay, I've got detailed videos on this, but the question is very simple, right? And where does that show up? It shows up, let's get the ATM out. As you're kind of pulling this out and you're going over the ATM, you know, you tell them kind of basically who we are. So I'm going to give you just some words. Now, what you got to do, man, is you got to go over this with your dog, your cat, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, someone who, you know, is kind, that you can ask critiquing questions, okay? You got to practice this before you go out on your first appointment. God, please don't let your first person you practice on be a client, okay? I'm big on rehearsal. So just some really short, simple things. I go, as I'm pulling this thing out, I say, so basically we are a group of agents and agencies called the Alliance that we help families like yours with mortgage protection, life insurance, final expense, annuities, retirement protection, that sort of thing. And in fact, we're hiring right now because we need some help in this area. So you're planting that seed. Okay, those are just simple words, who we are. Now, let me tell you a little bit about me. Okay, I don't read all this. Hey, I was born in Morocco. My dad was in the Navy, so I was born at a Navy station out there, and then I grew up in California and different parts of the country with him. By the way, did you guys grow up around here? Are you from this area originally? See, so everything on here allows you to ask them questions. So this is all part of the bond and rapport. Okay, and this is where you pull out the questions. So how did you two meet? Because I talked about my wife. You know, I met my wife doing theater, got married in 1991. So how did you and Mary meet each other? So tell me that story. And then, you know, when they kind of recount, this is where it can get a lot of fun. You know, if they're that kind of person, you know, those kind of people, you'll start joking and having fun. You know, I just try to break the ice like that. If they're single but have a girlfriend, like if you're single and don't have a spouse, just, you know, if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, just talk about them, you know. But this question is important. How did you two meet? Okay, and then I got my life insurance license. If you just got it, just say, I got my life insurance license because I really love to help people. I'm passionate about helping people prevent financial tragedy if they get personal tragedy, if they encounter personal tragedy. All right? Okay, this is my joke. I do this every time. So, Joe and Mary, a portion of my commissions I earn from each sale goes to feed hungry children. And then I go to this slide, and this is a picture of my hungry children. I've got 5 kids, and there's a picture of my beautiful wife, Jenny, and then here's my insurance license. And by the way, I have my my lanyard. Okay, so I have my lanyard on me. Okay, so let's show that. Okay, so what is my lanyard? My lanyard is one of these, these conference lanyards. You're going to get these at the national conference when you attend. And then I put a small copy of my license. I cut it out, and I put it on both sides, so I don't care which way it's showing. And so when I meet the client, I have this on, okay? And I don't have these glasses on. I put on my nerd glasses. You've probably seen these before if you see my videos. I've got my nerd glasses on because those sniper glasses may not be very relatable. Because they're probably wondering, why do you wear like orange tinted, amber tinted glasses? I don't want them to have to comment on anything or think in their heads. So I'll put these on, and I have my lanyard. See how simple that is? I'll have a, golf shirt, jeans, especially in the wintertime. I'll have jeans on, or, maybe some khaki jeans or whatever. But we're very much dressed down. And, so the lanyard makes you feel official and makes you look official to them. So anyway, that's my little sales pitch. So let's go back to the ATM. Okay, Joe, Mary, these are the companies I represent. You probably recognize some of these companies. And I point out the recognizable companies, the more famous companies like Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, AIG. Have you heard some of these companies before? Yes or no, it doesn't matter. I mean, they say, well, I've heard of them. Okay, great. So, so my job is to really find you the best program that gets you covered and take care of your needs, and that'll fit your budget. It's simple. That's all. I don't spend a lot of time, right? I just let them look at the cool logos, okay, and then I move on. Honestly, this is really kind of how long it takes. Okay, so let's talk about your financial picture. So I go, again, bond and rapport. This is one of the checks here to check if you've built enough rapport with them that they're going to give you this information. So let's talk about your financial picture. And so this is where, I'm going to write down all this information. I'm going to talk about their height and weight from the form. Now, Joe and Mary, like on this form, you have your height and weight is this, and they'll either confirm or deny it. And I show you both non-tobaccos. Non-tobacco. By the way, tell me about your medications. What medications are you taking, Joe? And so here's kind of how I list it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I'm going to just do the T-graph. I'm going to put Joe and Mary. Then I'm going to, confirm that information on the chart. And then when I find out medications, okay, so height and weight, 5'10", 190. Mary's 5'3", 130. Okay. Tobacco, I'll put NS for non-smokers. Let's say Mary's a smoker. I just kind of lay it out visually because, I write this on the back of the lead, by the way. So I put this on the back of the lead. And then medications. So, Joe, what kind of medications do you take? I just write them down, say metformin, whatever. And she takes high blood pressure medications, whatever. And up here, I'll put Joe's age. Let's say he's 57, and Mary's like 55. Okay. I put their medications. I just follow the chart. Okay. Any operations? Okay. Do you have any operations? Okay. Well, I had knee surgery. I had hip replacement, whatever. I just write down their operations. This gives me an idea of what I can cover them with. Okay. Now, if you're brand new, well, I'll get to that part. Okay. So what company do you work at? I like to put the company information up here. What company do you work for? You worked for Remington Steel. Okay. How long you been there? Oh, I've been there 10 years. Okay, great. Who'd you work for before? I work for XYZ company. Great. By the way, do you have a 401k? Do you have a 401k that you developed, that you transferred from XYZ to 1k? Yes or no? I do the same thing with Mary. Okay. And then I write down in front, then I want to know their income. So it's like, Joe, just round numbers. You do it softball, just ballpark. Tell me how much money you make annually, just ballpark. Oh, I make about 60,000. Okay. And Mary, how about you? Just ballpark, just round numbers. So you say, you don't try to get to the penny. You want to, and this tests your bond report. Like if you create enough report, then they're going to give you this information. So Mary, how much, you make 25,000. Okay, great. All right. So it shows here your mortgage is 150,000. Is that right? Okay. Is that 30 years or what? 30 years. Okay. Do you have any current policies? Any policies, any life insurance policies right now? Yes or no? What are they? How much face value? Are they term, whole life? I just want to know what I'm dealing with, right? Do you have any criminal or driving record? Okay, this will let you know up front. Well, I had a DUI 10 years ago. If he says I had a DUI last year or 3 months ago, it's going to affect your underwriting, which you don't got to worry about, okay? In the future, you will know how to do it, but you're going to call your upline manager and you're going to give him this information so he can tell you or she can tell you which process, are you in the military? Now, this is someone who may look like they're in the military. If they're older, they're probably not military, okay? Children. I just do it just real quick. This doesn't take very long. I just run through it real quick, okay? Now that you got this information, okay, then what I do is I call my upline. So you call me. You call your growing upline manager, or they'll give you a number to call of someone who can help you, like decide what product to cover with them, okay? So just get this information, call it in, and we'll help you. And how you do this, say, okay, great. Let me check with my chief underwriter so we can determine an approach, okay? So now you're going to get into the pain question. Okay, once you get this information, actually, kind of like, almost like before you call your upline, okay? So Mary, let me ask you. So this is the simple pain question. Okay, and that's the next slide, by the way. Okay, why is this important? So now we're going into the pain question, the simple pain question. So this is what I do, because I have this all laid out in the back of the lead. I ask Mary the question. So this goes, Mary, when Joe dies, I put an X. Okay, when Joe dies, I put an X to his income. Tell me how you're going to cover the mortgage. That's really kind of the basic question. So tell me how, is it going to be tough to pay the mortgage? Because you got your mortgage, let's say the mortgage payment, yes, the mortgage payment is $1,200. That's one of the questions you asked. So is it going to be hard to make that $1,200 mortgage payment based on you losing $60,000 of household income? And then I just shut up. I let her ask me the question. Well, yeah, it is going to be tough. It's going to be hard. It's going to be whatever. And then I want to find out more about that. Okay. And then Joe, same question for you. Tell me, when Mary dies, you're going to lose $25,000 of household income. Same thing. Is it going to be hard to cover the mortgage? She might say, well, it's not going to be as tough for me. I think I could make it just on my income. All right, cool. And when he says that, then all I'm doing is I'm going to focus on Joe and covering Joe. So everything I'm going to be talking about is Okay, Mary, so let's talk about how we can help you out here. Okay. Let me help you with this. Let me show you how we can make sure that that doesn't happen to you. All right. So do you understand? The question is, Mary, tell me, is it going to be tough to make that mortgage payment of $1,200 when Joe dies and you use $60,000 of income a year? Is it going to be hard for you? Let her answer the question. Yes, no, maybe so. Well, and then you find out more about it. Well, tell me more about that. What are you going to have to do? Right? And then you ask the same question to Joe. Is it going to be hard for you? And he might say, no, not going to be that hard. I can still do it. Okay, great. Well, then, Mary, let's talk about how we can take care of Joe. When Joe passes away, let's figure out how you can still stay in the house. Okay, that's my job. That's why I'm here. Okay, very simple. That's why I'm here. So you did bond rapport. You found out more about the client. Then you transition to the pain questions with Mary. What's going to happen if you X Joe out? Joe, what's going to happen if and you X Mary out? Okay, do you see how simple that is? Now, if they're older and we might have to do like mortgage payment protection, we can talk about affordable ways to take care of them. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so bond rapport, finding pain, going through their personal situation, and then what I do is I call them upline. Okay, so this at this point, once you found the pain, you know what they're looking for, you know who to cover. Then I'd say, then I tell Joe and Mary, hey, Joe and Mary, okay, I'm going to check my chief underwriter to see if we're, what approach we're going to go here. I'm just going to double check, make sure we're going down the right track. I get on the phone and you call me up and say, hey, Alex, I'm sitting with a nice couple here, Joe and Mary Smith, and I want to make sure we're on the right track with what to offer them. Okay. Then you give me the rundown, or I might even prompt you with questions. What medications are they taking? It's probably what I'm going to ask. How old are they? Tell me about the mortgage, right? Any surgeries. Based on that, I can make a recommendation. Okay, it looks like we can do XYZ company, Forrester, strong foundation, okay? And we probably could do, option one. You should probably do, the minimum 25,000. Option two, let's cover, since he makes 60,000, 75%, that's what, 60,000, 85,000. So that might be 2/3 of the income, maybe. So let's talk about covering 100,000 of the mortgage. And then number three is covering the whole mortgage. And let's just talk about Joe. Let's just do it Joe's quote. Let's not bundle them together. Let's just take care of Joe, because apparently Mary's got the problem if Joe dies. Joe doesn't have the problem. Do you see? And I'm going to say, give him these three options, okay? And then you're going to jot down just small print on the back of the lead. And, if you can calculate the premium, great. But if you want me to do it, I'll give you the premium amounts for Joe based on age 57, non-smoker, all the height and weight information, okay? So once I give you the approach, then you do the upfront contract, okay? Remember, the ATM will always guide you, and the upfront contract is what happens next. Why is this important? Okay, now you're going to talk about mortgage protection. Okay, based on what they said, hey, we're going to show you an option where it'll pay the mortgage if you die, or pay part of the mortgage so that we can refinance. We've got an option called mortgage payment protection where we can cover mortgage payments. We've got a split plan covering accidental death or full coverage to make it affordable, and some of these other features. I don't spend a lot of time on this, okay? If it's final expense, okay, I'll talk about final expense. And then this is the upfront contract. What happens next? Okay. So you're going to tell them here what happens next. So the basic question of bond rapport, I give you that. The pain question, what happens if? The question here is, this is the process. Do you agree to the process? Right? It's like 5 question categories. Right? So this is what I do with them. I say, okay, this is what's going to happen. Based on what my chief underwriter said, I'm gonna give you three options. Okay, so one, I'm gonna give you three options that will meet your needs, and then you decide how much will fit in your budget. And then you're gonna pick an option. Number two, we're gonna fill out a request for coverage form. Okay. We're going to fill out a request for coverage form. And what I like to do is I like to draw it out on the back of the lead. I always use that lead. So I like to draw it out. So I'm going to give you three options. I'm going to kind of draw option 1, 2, and 3. Okay. You're going to pick the one that you want. I'm going to just circle the middle one because majority of them will circle the middle one. But what you're doing is you're kind of, it's an NLP trick. Okay. I'm not going to talk about that. But okay, so I'm going to show you three options. Then I'm going to go, then we're going to fill out a request for coverage form, okay? And I'm going to ask you health questions and so on so that the insurance company will determine, right, whether or not you can qualify for it, okay? Then we're going to send it to the insurance company. We're going to send it in to the insurance company, okay? So I'm going to draw a building. I'm going to put insurance company. We're going to send it to them. Now, this is key when I explain this. Now, one of two things can happen, okay? They're going to think about you, okay? They're going to think whether or not they want to issue the policy on you. Okay, this is key, by the way. You don't tell them that, but I'm telling you, watching this is key. We're going to send it in. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to think about you, okay? They're going to think about you, okay? TAU. They're going to think about you. They're going to determine whether or not you get the policy. So right now, all we're doing is picking the program you think you can afford. We're going to hopefully get you approved, but you know, one of two things can happen. They can approve it. So should they approve it, okay, they approve. Yes, they say yes. They think about you, they say yes. And what I'm going to do, they're going to send it back to you. This is you. And then I'm going to come over and we're going to open up the policy to see if it's got everything that you want and need in it. We can make changes at that time. And that's when you get to think about it. So right now, tonight, you don't need to think about anything. This is not a think about it night. This is a night to determine what you think you can afford. Okay, what you can afford and determine what you qualify for from these options. We're going to fill this out, and then they're going to think about you. So you have nothing to think about until the policy gets delivered to you. I'm going to come over, we're going to open it up. At that point, we can think about it. We can raise the amount of coverage, we can decrease it, whatever you want to do. At that point, we can think about it, okay? Now, in the case that they say no, they're not going to approve you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to you, and I'm going to give you other options, okay? Another set of options that I know we can cover you based on your health. Okay, so maybe there was something in your health they didn't like, whatever. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to get you covered. So again, tonight's not a think about it night. Okay, and that's the upfront contract. Basically, and then the question is, so how does that sound to you? Does that sound good to you, Joe and Mary? And this is the point of demarcation. This is where you say, yes, I'm going to continue on to show you the rates, or no, I'm not going to show you nothing. I'm going to leave. Alex, that's pretty harsh. It's like, man, if they're not going to commit to my process, then I'm not going to stay there and let them steal my rates. I'm going to walk out of there. Okay? And then they say, well, Alex, I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to think about it. We really can't make any decision. And I say, you're not making a decision. There's no final decision. There's no decision right now. All we're doing right now is determining what you can afford and to see if you qualify. The only way you can make a decision is if you know you qualify, right? It's kind of like sending your child to college. You don't even know if they can get into Harvard or Duke, right, or Princeton. Okay, you can't even make a decision on where to send them unless you know they're accepted, right? And so they're accepted at Harvard, they're not accepted at Duke, they're accepted at Princeton. So now you know which you can choose from if they're accepted, right? So here, we're going to get you, see if you can get accepted, and then you can make a choice. Does that make sense, Joe and Mary? And typically I'll use that analogy if they have college-age kids that they went through the process, then they understand what I'm talking about. I try to use an analogy that relates to them. This is important, the upfront contract, because again, if they say, well, no, we're not really wanting to commit anything right now, okay, great. I'll tell you what, here's my card. Give me a call when you're ready to do something. Again, ready to go through this process to see if you qualify. Give me a call. Or you can book a meeting from a meeting, okay? So, bam, fam. Okay? So I would do this first. Bam, fam, book a meeting from a meeting. I say, okay, great. Tell you what. So there's two techniques. Okay. Now we really got to think about it. Okay, go outside. Okay. So the first technique is, okay, great. Tell you what, I'm going to make a few calls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step outside, get in my car, and I'm going to make a few calls because I got to check on a couple of my clients. I'll give you maybe 10 minutes and I'll come back. So I'll give you time to think about it, then I'll come back. They say, okay, that sounds good. Sometimes they just don't need you there, and then they can talk about what they want to do. Okay, that's the go outside. They go, well, no, we're not going to do anything tonight. Okay, I'm confused. I thought that you wanted to, then you point to the pain. They say, well, we really, okay, and say, okay, cool. Tell you what, I've got time on this coming Thursday at between 6 and 8 o'clock. I can swing by, and then we can revisit this and see, what you thought about. And I'm going to book it like in advance, like two days in advance or something like that. It's close, closer to today than tomorrow, right? Or than a week from now. I'm going to try to do it as soon as I can get back in there. I'm going to book an appointment. What that tells me, it takes their temperature on how serious they are at covering this. And so I'll bam out, okay, well, I'll tell you what, let me come back. I have time on Thursday. Like if it's a Wednesday appointment, I got time tomorrow, I got time Friday. And then that lets you know how serious they are. I say, well, yeah, definitely come back tomorrow or come back Friday, and then we'll have a decision. Well, then you've got something good happening. But I'm not going to give them rates. I'm not going to cover rates because then they steal your rates. I don't want them to steal my rates. Okay, so I'll book a meeting. Okay, they say, well, yeah, okay, why don't you come back? Then I come back, but I don't give them rates. They go, well, aren't you going to go over the rates? I go, no, we'll go over it Friday. Because I'll find something that you can afford. I think what your issue is, if you want to proceed to determine if you want to go through the process of seeing if you get approved. Because I could show you 1,000 rates, but we don't even know if you're approved yet. So why would you even think about anything until you know you're approved? You see how you go back to what you're trying to do in the first place, which is submit an application, because what they could say is, and what I've had them say before, is like, well, if that's all, we're just going to apply. We're not committed. No, you're not committed. All you're committing to is finding out if you get approved or not. But you're committed to your family, right? Take care of them, aren't you? Well, yeah, I am. Okay, so let's make sure that you're committed there. And so what I'm committed to do is determine if you can even have something to think about. See how you can kind of turn it back into closing it, right? Because they're not having to think about a major decision today. Does that make sense? So basically, again, the upfront contract is, this is the process. Is this cool with you? They say yes. Awesome. Then this is where you advance on the ATM to the fulfillment. Is fulfilling the contract, right? Which is the options. Now you're going to put 3 quotes down, okay? So you're going to write down the quotes that I told you to put down. So on a mortgage protection, option 1 will be, I like to do mortgage payment protection here. So I might show $25,000, which is the minimum for the term. And so let's say the $25,000 on Joe, that might be, $55 a month. Okay. Remember, the mortgage was $250,000. So this is going to be kind of maybe the income range. Okay, so he makes about 2/3 of the income. I'm going to show 2/3 of the mortgage. So let's say it's $100,000. Because look, Mary, if you got 2/3 of the home mortgage paid to you that you can refinance, do you think you could afford it on your $25,000 a year, right? Okay, so that's sort of the mortgage percentage, and then I'll do the full up 150,000. Okay, so maybe this one is like $95 a month, and then this one is, and then maybe I cover the rest with accidental death of 100,000, and then maybe this is $135 a month. Okay, so I lay it out, option 1, 2, and 3. This is like the full. And then I give them the pen and go, which one is better for you? Okay, so option 1, 2, and 3, the mortgage payment option, the partial option with the accidental death, or the full up 150,000 covers the whole thing. So circle which one that you think will meet your needs and budget. And I put the pen over, I slide, okay, and I put this on a separate piece of paper. So I print out the quote slide. I print out a bunch of those, okay, as blanks that I can fill in. So when I sit down with them, I can just write it in, right? And remember, this is where your chief underwriter gave you, either the rates and the options, or the options and you can figure out the rates, okay? And then I turn the paper back to them and say, circle the one that best meets your needs and budget. And so my experience, they always do the middle one for some reason, majority of them. And so, and by the way, when they're circling that, I'm getting my computer out, I'm getting ready to do that e-app. I'll pull my computer out, I'm getting out there. By the way, what's your Wi-Fi password? Okay, and then they give you the Wi-Fi password. So you're online, you're pulling up the e-app, and you're ready to rock and roll, baby, right? They pick one. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and write this one up and see if you qualify for it, okay? And that's the fulfillment, okay? So the question here is, these are 3 options. Which one's going to meet your needs and budget the best? And then we're going to see if you qualify. They circle the one, boom, you're off the races. Then you're doing the e-app, getting that all rocking and rolling, right? And then the post-sale. Okay, so you write it up, blah, blah, blah. Get all right, get the E-F done. Now the post-sale process. Okay, so part of the post-sale process is you take them through, I'm going to call it the 5 slides. I have a video on this. The 5 slides. Okay. So the 5 slides after this are the key to where you can almost double your income. I've got very specific training on each one of these, but for you just to go through an emergency response system. So basically you just tell them, okay, the next thing we have to do after you fill out the e-app and submit it, okay, the next thing that we're required to do, okay, make it sound official. The next thing that we're required to do is we need to put your emergency response network together, all right? Currently, it's over $1 billion of unclaimed life insurance money in America. Most unclaimed life insurance is from beneficiaries not knowing that they're a beneficiary on the policy. So this ERS system is our way to make sure your death claim will be paid immediate to your beneficiary. So the next thing we've got to do is we need to fill out this form. Okay, so I've got a form that looks like this. I'll show you that. I've got this form, and this is like the Jason Carey form. You put their name. Okay, this is the next thing we have to do. This is the next thing we have to do. This is the next thing the insurance companies requires us to do to fill out an emergency response system. And then you start putting your head down. Okay, so who do you know that would know you well enough that would contact me? I can give them my phone number. They can contact me so we can start the death claim. What's difficult, Joe and Mary, is I need them local, so they're close by here. They would know right away. And then you feel comfortable that they would contact me I'll just call them, give them my phone number. I won't tell them anything about the details of your policy, but, you know, and Tony Moore, we got this great training on that. I've also got another form. And this form looks like an insurance company form. This looks like an insurance company form. Actually, it's modeled off of the... Welcome back, Kevin. Okay, this looks like an insurance company form. So this is the next... So the insurance company form more looks like an insurance company form. So I have that if you want that. Let me know if you want a copy of it. That looks more official. And then this is our way of getting referrals. Now the thing about referrals, like I said, I'm not going to teach you all about it, but we'll teach you how to call them up later. We just want you to do it. And then we'll teach you how to, so you got to go through this process, okay? So those are the forms for the ERS. All right. So let's, oh, cool. All right, so that's the ERS. Now, the prescription discount card, you need to get these, you need to order these. I'm not sure if you can print these out. You used to be able to print these out so you could at least have, but you order these from the Alliance. If you don't have them, then, just skip over this one, I guess. Or tell them that you can get it. Hey, we have a prescription discount card. It ensures that you pay the lowest amount for your prescriptions. Actually, it's really cool. Okay, really, it is. I know I've saved money on it. So, there's a website that you can go on to see how much savings you can earn from this by using this card. It's free of charge. We're allowed to only let you sponsor 4 other people that you know that you think would like to save money on prescription medications. Okay, so again, you fill out 4 people that get sponsored to the program. And then if you don't have them with you, just tell them, I'll deliver these when I deliver your policy. So you can give these to your 4 people. And I'll actually contact them, okay? I'll actually contact them. So that's how you do the prescription discount card. You're taking prescriptions, really, no kidding. They're going to save money, right? Okay, the next slide. By the way, Joe and Mary, remember you talked about that 401k you had. There might be some retirement options that you're eligible for. We've got this company back at home office. We have an advisor that can advise you on how to handle your retirement. Would that be something you'd be interested in? It's a free service. Okay, and then you fill out the green sheet, which, oh man, I know. Let me look for that. There it is. Okay, that's supposed to be green. The Safe Money Analysis form. We call it the green sheet. Okay, so this is Safe Money Analysis form. And this is, you just fill it out and then you call it in to Chris Norris, or you send it in to them and they're going to contact your client and they're going to sell the annuity for you. You have to know nothing about annuities. Just fill this information out, they're going to contact them. That's all you got to do. All you're doing is trying to identify annuity opportunities. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Next slide. Final question. So this is the post-sale part of the process. Do you feel good about taking care of your family today for, let's say it's for $100 a month? Is that something you feel comfortable with? Basically what we're doing is we're trying to make sure that the client feels good about the premium that they would be paying if they get approved. Okay? So basically we're sliding the check back as that's our terminology for it. Is like, Joe, Mary, do you feel comfortable of making this payment $100 a month to protect your family, to make sure Mary doesn't have to go through the stuff she explained to me that she'd have to go through when you die? And I want to get a good feeling from them that the answer is yes or no, right? I want to make sure they say, yes, I can do that. And I'll tell them, look, Christmas bills are coming in January. When you get those bills hit, are you going to call me up and tell me you want to cancel? Or vacation time's coming, you got more, vacation bills. Are you going to call me and want to cancel? And you want to make sure that they say, yes, we're going to do this. We're not going to cancel. I want them to resell me on it. Okay, so that's a simple question at the post sale is, you still feel good about making this payment. Okay. Anything you can think of that could prevent you. I'm going to call you in a couple days to make sure if you have any questions, you can answer your questions then. And I'll call them back in a couple days. Okay. And then when you receive your policy, I'm going to come back and I'm going to open it up with you. So give me a call when you receive it, or I'll check on you on whether or not you received it. All right. And that's the post sale. Oh yeah. Then the next question, the recruiting slide. Final question. Now look, my manager's hiring right now in this area. Do you know anyone that might be interested in making about $500 a week doing what I just did for you? Is there anyone that any top salespeople, or anyone interested in making some additional income? My manager's hiring right now. And they might say, how about me? Or they might say my bum kid who doesn't got a job in the basement surfing the internet and eating Cheetos, whatever. That's where you make a lot of money, by finding someone who wants to get involved and they do what you're doing. You're making an override on them. I got another video on that. Final questions. Okay, so let's go back. All right, gang. So look, man. The 5-step process, simple. Bond report questions. So tell me how you two met, or how long have you lived here? Okay, and you're going through your about you, which allows you to ask about them. Creating rapport with them so they like you, and they trust you. Okay. Then you find out why they sent it in. The what if. Well, so Mary, what happens when Joe dies? Not if. When Joe dies, you lose $60,000 a year. Is it going to be hard to make your mortgage payment? Joe, when Mary dies, you lose her $25,000 a year. Is it going to be hard to make the mortgage payment? Okay. Simple question. Upfront contract. This is what's going to happen. You're going to pick one of 3 options. We're going to put an application together to determine if you qualify. There's nothing to think about until we know that the insurance company approves you. At that point, they're going to deliver the policy to you. I'm going to come over and we're going to open it up. At that point, we can think about it. Okay? Boom. Does that sound good to you? Does that look good to you? Is that something that feels, does that feel right? And they pick one. Brandon will notice I use 3, kinesthetic, audio. Does that sound good to you? Visual, will that, how does that look? How's that feel? Kinesthetic. Anyway. Fulfillment. They pick one. You write it up. And then the post sale. Right? You go through the 5 slides. Easy peasy. But you got to practice. Please practice. Don't let the first time you run through your ATM be with a client. Please God, don't let them do that. Don't let them practice in front of real life clients. Man, it should be the 10th, 15th, 20th time you went through the ATM by the time you get to your first client. Because you do it over and over again. Like the script, go over the script with your spouse, with your dog, your cat, your brother, sister, daughter, son. Just go over it. Get it out of your mouth. Like read the script 50 times. Seriously, read it out loud 50 times. And you could download the script from our NAA Quickstart. It's the Minikino script. But I mean, my script is my script. It's how I talk to people. So you can mimic me. Whatever, I don't care. use whatever script you feel comfortable with. But don't let it be the first time you use it is when you dial leads. Read it out loud 50 times. Practice it with someone you care about. Same with the ATM. Practice with someone who cares about you to give you feedback. Sometimes it's actually kind of a cool way to sell your family. You know, get with your brother, sister, mother, father, son, daughter, go over this with them. And they might say, well, you know what, I think we need some life insurance. You know, that's the other way to do it. But it's only about 15, 20 minutes anyway. But get practice. You got to rehearse. No actor went on stage to do a performance without rehearsing. You're no different. All right? Boom. So that is our sales process. Let's see. I think I covered the basics. All right, so we're going to take another 5-minute break, and then we're going to cover recruiting. I might talk real quick on leads.